three. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Everybody, welcome to Teaching Crypto. This has been the month we've been looking for. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. Super chats are up. Help support the show. Share it, whatever you can do. We appreciate it. It's time, Mr. FOMO. It's time to turn green. And I'm not talking about Kermit the Frog. I'm talking about Bitcoin here, as looks like we have, in fact, survived, unless something crazy happens in the next 48 hours, September. And now we're October, as they called it a few years ago during the bull run, hopefully is back as we make some crazy, maybe not crazy, but green colored predictions this morning. How are you doing, Mr. FOMO?
Doing well. How about you? There's some things that I'm still a little bit worried about today. Earlier in the week, I don't think we talked about it on the show, but there's definitely a max pain level that was rumored to be around 26.5. Now, I know between the beginning of the week and the end of the week, people can purchase their way out of certain prices, and they can purchase, they can lengthen their time period on their contracts. So a lot has happened since then, but I know the max pain price was at about 26.5 earlier in the week. We're hovering right around there. And so over the weekend, there might actually be a downturn if we have a lot of liquidations here today. So don't think that is indicative of what October will be. I think that this will be a bit of a shakeout because there's a lot of Bitcoin and Ethereum contracts expiring today. So I think there's going to be a little bit of a shakeout this weekend, and then you'll see more green leading into next week. But that's just what I'm seeing.
Now, this is not, this is our buddy George. He's a famous crypto trader, but I've seen other investors who have been lukewarm or negative on Bitcoin the past 2 months, and they've turned green. And this question here, Mr. FOMO, we got to discuss. Originally in August, before my prediction went south for August, I really thought that we would see 40K. I didn't think we would hold 40K, but we would touch 40K before January 1st, 2024. I kind of gave up on that, to be honest, but I've seen a couple people over the past 24 hours calling for 40K. Now, is this realistic or unrealistic? I'm going to give the floor to you, and then I'm going to give my opinion second this time.
I mean, anything can happen in crypto, right? This isn't the regular stock market. One of the reasons we're here is because of the volatility, and volatility can be a bad word on the downside, but it can definitely be a good word on the upside. And so I think anything's possible. Certainly we could see a lot of positive movement. I still don't think that it's going to be parabolic movement if we get an ETF in this last quarter, but I think there's a possibility we could get an ETF in this last quarter. So if we see that, I think that we could push past these important levels, especially that big 30K level, and maybe see ourselves in the mid to high 30s. 40K is kind of a stretch. If you look at the charts historically leading into the halving, you kind of chop sideways with brief time periods of green, but they're quickly followed by retraces. So, my prediction is that we'll have a green October. I don't think that we'll get quite to 40,000. And then we will head down into the holidays. And then looking into February, March, we'll start to see some more green next year. And then the halving in April, and then post-halving is where you'll see that explosive movement.
Well, I actually do think we're going to get above 30 now. And I'll give my price and just prediction here in just a little bit. We'll see if I make a fool out of myself in the month of October. As you see here, there's more and more evidence that the SEC is eventually going to relent and approve these ETFs. They've asked for more information. And normally when you're asking for more information on an application, you're not denying the application. They're going to delay this for as far as they can. But there's a point before the halving in 2024 that they're going to have to say yes to all of these that you see in front of you: BlackRock, Fidelity, okay, ARK Investments, Franklin Templeton, It's probably, like we've been saying, not if, but when. And when that dam breaks, I do think you're going to see a ton of positivity. Do I expect it to happen in October? I do not. But you never know. You could wake up one morning and all of a sudden there's a tweet, just like the XRP situation, and then things, move quickly. Now, I just wanted to give a little bit of a perspective before we give our Bitcoin predictions, because we promised our viewers, I know you hate this, for the month of October. So, Mr. FOMO, and I didn't ask you this before the show because I wanted your honest guess. Where do you think we were in October 4 years ago, right before the last halving?
Oh God, we were way down from here. We were well below. Yeah, I was going to say below 10,000, but yeah, you touched there.
So perspective.
We're at 8,340.
So perspective here, we got to 66. Okay, that was the double top. 8,000. Okay, you do some quick math. All right, that is way above my 90-100K prediction for BTC next cycle. So that 90 to 100K prediction I'm making looks pretty good. Now I'm going to give you my October. Hang on to your seats, Mr. FOMO. I'm not going to say 40K for October. I don't think that's realistic. But I'm going to go ahead and say we climb above 33K this month. And also, we continue to climb at the beginning of November. Now, I do honestly, just for our viewers, I want to be honest, sometime around Thanksgiving, I do see a little bit more of a downward turn. Crypto never goes straight up, never goes straight down. And at this point, since we're so early in this cycle, the periods of green do not last as long as the periods of red. But I'm thinking for the next 6 weeks, it's going to be fun. And we're going to have some fun shows here. So I am predicting we not only break 30, it might not be the first time, it might be the second, third time, but we make a move towards 33, maybe 34. But I'm feeling pretty good about a 33K Bitcoin, which is a good 6K from here. It's a nice bump. What about you?
I like your 33, 34K prediction. I was going to say something similar because I thought you were going to go all the way to 40. So I was actually surprised that you stayed below 35.
I want to be realistic here.
I think I think 30 is going to be really hard to break through. And I'm going to go ahead and share the Bitcoin chart here. If I can get it to share. All right, here we go. So the Bitcoin chart here, and you see we have an important level that we're still butting our head against. We were on Wednesday as well. And so that line that's going across there at about 27.3 is what we need to break through to get through this next big barrier. Then that 29.30 mark is a huge barrier. And you can see we've had some trouble butting our heads against this 27 mark. So, with that little momentum right now, I can't see it making a huge jump just because of the barriers it has to break through. Also, 30 being a huge psychological barrier as well as a huge area of resistance. And then 35, I think, is another huge psychological barrier, especially where we're at and what we've seen in the past as far as Bitcoin chopping sideways leading into the halving.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think we're getting above 30 on the first attempt at resistance, but I think there's going to be a lot of buyers coming in here. My theory is not only are people buying for the next 18 months or 15 months, there's also some traders that are going to be coming in, and I've been looking at the activity here with the idea and intent of buying now and selling 7 weeks from now. Now, will it work out for them? I have no idea. I'm just curious now that a lot of people are saying this is a great time to buy Bitcoin all of a sudden when they weren't saying that 2 weeks ago. We've been calling for a good October for a while. You were right about August. Remember, I was dead wrong. Let's see if we go to 20K like that 30. That'll be 0 for 2 for me for big Bitcoin predictions, because the last time I predicted a nice move up, we went the other way. So if we go down to 22 or 20, which I do not anticipate at all, it would be historic for Bitcoin in October before halving to make that kind of move. But you never know with world events. Anything can change. Is not an exact science for obviously. Otherwise, everyone here would not have to work.
Right.
So
I think this is a good opportunity. I would agree with you. I think this might present a good opportunity for a short-term swing trade. I'm not sure that we'll go all the way into October. Remember, or excuse me, all the way into Thanksgiving. Remember last year we were coming out of the bull run into sort of October, November.
A couple years ago.
I would consider that more of like a bull trap at the end, on the back end of that sort of distribution, or excuse me, the Wyckoff pattern. So can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I don't know. I don't know that that we're going to see that much explosive growth, but this could be a good opportunity for a swing trade heading into November. But I would be careful how long you wait into November. And remember, you might see a little bit of downward action this weekend. That means that you're getting a good price before what we're predicting is going to happen into October. Remember, we have some contracts expiring here at the end of the month. So keep an eye on that this weekend and maybe pick up some cheap Satoshis.
It's a great point. Hopefully what happened to Mr. FOMO here, where he got frozen, doesn't happen to Bitcoin here. I just wanted to mention really quickly, Voyager, people are getting their checks. That is a great, great sign. If you declined on the crypto, I'm seeing a lot of checks coming in. Now, some of the assets couldn't be traded, and so those checks are coming in as well. Still waiting on mediation news. I do anticipate in the next 2 weeks we'll know yes, no. Hopefully it's a yes, guys. And then you could possibly see a check before 2024. I'm just not anticipating it. So, guys, we want to thank you so much for tuning in. We love any support you can give us. A like, subscribe, share, super chat. It's all appreciated, guys. Help us get to 2,000 as soon as possible, as we have a fun October. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. Have a great weekend, everybody.
See ya.